The fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye. Dijonai has a history with Caitlin Clark, like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago and Angel Reese. That's not a natural act of you contest a shot and then all of a sudden your hand turns downwards and straight into the eye of the biggest star in the WNBA.
Did Dijonai Carrington just change the future of the WNBA with one brutal move? We're breaking down the eye poke heard round the basketball world and why it's way bigger than just one game. Picture this, it's just 2 minutes into a playoff game. The arena's buzzing with energy. Then, out of nowhere, Carrington's fingers make contact with Clark's eye. Bam! Everything stops. Fans are shocked. Players are confused. It's like someone hit pause on the whole game. But here's the thing. This wasn't just any old foul. This moment could be a game changer for the entire WNBA.
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana.
I'm talking about reshaping the future of women's basketball. Sounds crazy, right? What if I told you this eye poke might be the best thing to happen to the WNBA in years? I know, it sounds wild, but trust me, we're just getting started. You won't believe how this one moment could change everything. Now imagine being so good at basketball that your success becomes your biggest weakness. That's exactly what happened to Caitlin Clark. Her rise to stardom came with a price tag that no one saw coming. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player in the WNBA. She's a phenomenon, a once-in-a-generation talent who's been breaking records left and right. Her skills on the court are off the charts, and she's got the endorsement deals to prove it. We're talking about a $28 million contract, folks. That's not just money, that's a target on her back. You'd think being the best would make life easier, right? Wrong. Clark's found out the hard way that being at the top means everyone's gunning for you.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. Ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails that stabbed her in the eye. But damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dijonai Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
She's not just facing defenders anymore. She's facing a whole league that's out to prove they can take down the new queen of basketball. Clark didn't mince words about it either. She straight up said, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me." Can you imagine? Every game feeling like you're going into battle knowing everyone's coming at you with everything they've got? But here's where it gets real. That eye poke we talked about, it didn't just hurt Clark physically, it messed with her whole game. Before the incident, she was dropping 20 points per game like it was nothing. After, she barely managed 11 points. Her shooting percentage? It fell off a cliff, down to 23.5%. Think about that for a second. One moment, one aggressive move, and suddenly the league's brightest star is struggling to shine. It's not just about Clark anymore. Her team relies on her scoring ability. When she's off her game, the whole team feels it. This isn't just about one player or one team, it's about the future of the WNBA. Clark isn't just a player, she's a marketing goldmine for the league. But if she can't play her best because she's constantly looking over her shoulder, what does that mean for the game? The WNBA is at a crossroads, and the path they choose might shock you. This isn't just about protecting star players anymore. It's about the soul of the game itself. The Carrington Clark incident has opened up a can of worms that's forcing the league to make some tough calls. Think about it. One moment we're watching a playoff game. The next, we're debating the future of women's basketball. It's wild how fast things can change, right? The WNBA is now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do they crack down on aggressive play and risk losing fans who live for that intensity? Or do they keep things as they are and potentially put their star players at risk? This isn't just about one game or even one season. The ripple effects could hit college and high school basketball too. Imagine being a young player watching this unfold. You're seeing your idols getting roughed up on the court and you're thinking, is this what I have to look forward to? And let's talk about that lack of a foul call. It set social media on fire. Fans and commentators are demanding the WNBA step up and take some responsibility. They're not just asking for a slap on the wrist, they want real change. But here's where it gets really interesting. This could be the start of a whole safety revolution in basketball. The way the WNBA handles this could set the tone for years to come. We're not just talking about new rules. We're talking about a whole new approach to the game. Clark's been vocal about the physicality she's facing. She said, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me." That's not just a complaint. It's a cry for help. And it's not just about Clark. It's about every player who's ever felt like they're walking onto a battlefield instead of a basketball court. The WNBA's got a chance to be a trailblazer here. They could redefine how aggressive play is handled, not just in their league, but in women's sports as a whole. It's a big responsibility, but it's also a huge opportunity. Think about the message it sends if they get this right. They'd be telling every young girl out there that they can chase their hoop dreams without fear. That skill and talent will be protected and celebrated, not punished. But if they get it wrong, we could see star players holding back, afraid to go all out. We could see fans losing interest because the game's lost its edge. It's a delicate balance, and the WNBA's walking a tightrope. You know what's crazier than that eye poke? The fact that it might completely change women's basketball as we know it. We're not just talking new rules here. This could reshape everything from player relationships to how we view aggression in women's sports. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: race. Clark's not just any player, she's a white superstar in a league that's mostly black athletes. That's not just a coincidence, it's a big deal. Some people are saying this whole situation is bringing up some deep-rooted issues that have been simmering for a while. Imagine being in Clark's shoes. You're at the top of your game, making headlines, and suddenly you're feeling like there's a target on your back. It's not just about jealousy, it's about feeling like an outsider in your own league. That's gotta be tough. But it's not just about Clark. This incident is making everyone in the WNBA take a hard look at how they treat each other. Think about it. If players are feeling like they have to watch their backs all the time, how's that gonna affect team spirit? It's like trying to play basketball while walking on eggshells. And get this, fans are going wild over this. Social media is blowing up with people calling for big changes. They're not just talking about player safety anymore. They're asking some real questions about what women's basketball should look like. Should it be all about aggression, or is there a way to keep the intensity without risking player safety? This eye poke thing, it's like someone opened Pandora's box. Now everyone's talking about the culture of women's basketball. Players are speaking up, fans are demanding change, and the league's stuck in the middle trying to figure out what to do next. But here's the thing, this could be a good thing. Yeah, you heard me right. Sometimes it takes a big shakeup to make real progress. The WNBA's got a chance to be a real game changer here. They could set new standards for how we handle aggression in women's sports, not just in basketball. Think about it. If they get this right, they could create a whole new playbook for dealing with these kinds of issues. It's not just about protecting star players anymore. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels respected no matter where they come from or how famous they are. Let's take a step back and look at the big picture here. This whole eye poke drama, it might just be the wake-up call the WNBA needed. We started with a shocking moment on the court, and now we're talking about changing the entire game. Here's the thing, sometimes it takes a crisis to spark real change. The WNBA's got a chance to turn this mess into something positive. They could set new standards for player safety, address those underlying tensions, and make the game better for everyone. Imagine looking back on this moment years from now and realizing it was the turning point for women's basketball. Crazy, right? But it could happen. The league's at a crossroads, and the path they choose could reshape the sport for generations. So what do you think? How should the WNBA handle this? What changes would you like to see in women's basketball?